Take it easy. Take it easy.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who've been cracking? Given that there's new evidence from the trial.
Ah, I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only... Sorry. I might have been...
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there aren't... Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, get Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful! In that case, why don't we return to the Court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right, then. Let's have our farewell meal.
Add Astro... Add Astro... I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while.
Well, in that case, I'll go order for it.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food...
And if it's not?
Well, then...
Yeah. Sure have your own way of doing... Oh, we called this a farewell meal.
Oh, true.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the...
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward. But
if it hadn't happened right...
Right? Yet it was because...
If only
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem, to be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities... It's not that I don't have faith, it's easy to guard against, which is exactly why the Spina di Rosso, those highfalutin... It's all right. Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial.
I see. So, I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect...
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular.
Well, but you can...
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's...
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House. Only, I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the...
Could you...
All right, here's another. I can personally testify that this one works. When I'm...
That might...
valid point. All right. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations.
You mean that if we catch her while she's up, why don't we give it a try after this meal?
Huh?
Was this... Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed. Oh, so full. Paimon can barely float anymore. Nah, that would be so...
Okay.
Hey, Navia! What are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again.
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're all... in any case, I'm...
See ya! Anymore. Looks like that boat we took to Araneas might have been the last one.
Vache.
Looks like we're back here at... Huh? Traveler?
Vache?
Hey, why are you still up? Huh? Hey, Traveler? Stop walking! Come on, wake up!
Vache, are you my dear No, wait. You seem to be someone else. My memories feel like they have been washed away. How much have I lost? How many things that I once held dear? Yes, that is what I was. I do not know how I came to be like this. I also, no matter where I but now. No! The thought of me gives him no... If you meet Vache, perhaps that is so... If only I could have comforted him. Told him that I did not suffer. Is that what you call it? It was a state of neither I could also liken it to being a thirsty person who drinks water for the first. I think I hear your companion. It's time for you to farewell then. I am glad that you were able to sense my presence.
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. Chlorand? Quick, now's our chance! I should thank you for lending us your sword there, Chlorand. But before I do so... I believe that following someone without their...
Mr. Callus's last wish was for me to...
Do not!
Sorry, Demoiselle. I was not strong enough.
Thank you for your aid, Miss...
Sorry, I did not consider your feelings.
Whatever. What else do you know?
I doubt I know much more than you. But I believe that the mastermind... Your performance tonight will almost certainly attract their attention.
Huh. I'm sure they've... And what about these Gardamex? I thought only the...
None of these mecha have serial numbers. I was sure to check a moment ago. I can only conclude that...
What? Your point being that they're out...
Yes. Be careful.
I will continue investigating, no matter what. We will... Regardless... Right. I suppose that's the best news...
Demoiselle, I believe that...
I know, I just... She's...
Oh, thank goodness! I thought we were done for! Those Gardamex came out of nowhere while you were unconscious, and Navia again saved us! Oh, and there was that champion duelist in court.
Oh, come now. Forget as such.
It will take 50...
If it were me...
Actually, Navia, how did you know that we were in danger?
Well, to be honest...
Huh?
Yes, all thanks to you. After we parted ways, that the Fanta tasted kind of... Fanta only comes...
So the Fanta had...
Yes, so...
Spina di Rosul.
Really?
I sent people to Hotel de Boer. That's when I figured out that you might be in danger.
But... What?
Well, you did... Speaking of which, did anything strange...
Well, it can't be cool. Oh, and this time Paimon... Does that mean the Primordial...
That doesn't sound like too much of a bad...
New intel? What?
Well, let's see... Oh. Vache. That name doesn't ring a bell. Since he saw that young woman, but he never gave testimony. Or, yes, thank you. Oh, you mean...
Well, you did say... And besides, we're in this now and...
Demoiselle, do try not to look quite...
You talk too much. Well, in that case, we also have some plans to go.
Don't worry, you two.
I prefer magic. Let's dance.
Shine down! Gotcha!
Time for retribution!
Insolent! Busted! Game's up! Time's over! Now you shall perish! Erase all threat!
Let the show begin.
There is no escape! Quietly now. Shine down!
Let's dance. Hey. Hey.
It's right up ahead, but
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted...
very good.
I shall find room.
Thank you, Maloose. Now. Take it easy. Take it easy.
This is your base?
Your accommodations have been arranged.
Well, after all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot...
Your father,
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me.
No, I'll explain it myself. I suppose that my father's name is Callus. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor instead.
no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial, but strangely, he not only requested, but even after being seriously injured. 3 years later, how could he protect his honor? If the closest piece of info I have is that my father...
Ah, so that's why you're so determined.
That's right. However, I believe that if the murder case is... I must know what really happened. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that now... Here I...
Demoiselle.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. Master Callus did so. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man...
No. Perhaps people just revel. People love watching the evil turn over.
But how could... Never...
And there is one other.
Oh. Her? Yeah. That's not the...
Miss Clorand, she knew Master Callus, but there was...
It's not that...
Don't worry, Navia.
Afterward, Miss Clorand. Yes, that is our understanding.
Oh, all right. Anyway, that's the... thanks.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep.
Paimon slept so well, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin.
Paimon gets the feeling but never...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some...
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical new evidence appear?
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking for everyone just now, huh?
Unfortunately, this name seems to have... I suspect that those behind this have already... No. There is one, and that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? In that case, let's go to...
No. The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is present.
This place does...
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to. Our roots...
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy, so please leave if you don't have a...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all coming back to me now.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business. You can trust us.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
Please come in. It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance to you.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Who knew that Navia would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette. We'll take our leave now.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man.
And what are you trying to say, Monsieur Neuvillette? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some tendril of regret? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no... It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the duel? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die, despised and hated by all? Everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiniest effort could have changed everything. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia...
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly... It's not so much that you can't feel. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia.
I'm fine. Rain. It's raining.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any active trials today. How strange.
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was also raining.
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have affected the crime scene? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You don't mean...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then go, yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even
a true genius for a partner. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time.
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great. Let's go then. There's no need to be so... My father was the one who... A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and...
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di... Paimon was confused with... But now that Paimon has seen this ship for...
Well, Poisson is...
Take it easy.
Maloose, we're back!
Apologies for the wait. You said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. You still remember, right, Maloose?
Yes, the case was quite similar.
Could you tell us a bit more about what...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some kind of potion?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing the ability to focus. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety, while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse, and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and for all.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed by synth abuse. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was all...
How did that happen? Aren't they on the same side?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene. Precisely. But, considering it now, You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out. I'm finally headed towards the truth.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with zero warning. I think this third person is probably the key to the full truth. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, I must still offer a word of warning. Our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to... Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace, and we have been... There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back and give up on the case.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me that himself. Was I not the closest person to him? What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage to protect anything in the end? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day, and certainly not now. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and for myself.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly, demoiselle, I think you're also ready to take this on.
So you do know something else, Malouse?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had no more than 5 years left to live, and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict, but once he passed away, all the danger would pass on to you. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina de Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared to look sick to me.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the Unfaithful were still far preferable than...
So he chose to die in silence, so that he could protect me.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a sword. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of everyone involved. I'm sure he'd be extremely proud.
That fool. Couldn't he have just given it to me straight? No. He might have set up... Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, I could have just lived out my life without a care in the world. But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't need to give me an easy way out. Huh. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared with you?
It's the location where When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go storming in?
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we... But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed.
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontaine authorities?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have...
Huh. That's true. Seems my father really had no choice. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side's guilt, now that we've
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and Demoiselle. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew there's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its... In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around, with a lot of business connections in the city.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina...
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too hard to believe.
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is extremely cautious.
Of course. And thank you, Malus. You've provided us with a lot of great information.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus. You really are the best.
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth and end this case once and for all.
Take it easy.
It is settled, then.
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
Ah, if it's about that.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain.
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to all of us.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but on the matter regarding my...
Would you mind sharing it with me?
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times he had many regrets. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he tried to be as careful as...
They found out about...
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still alive. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in some...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so what?
Well, things aren't all...
Yeah, Papa was...
Then you should hold on to that, regardless of whether he left you a pair...
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is...
You really think so? That's the first time...
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should...
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened.
Yeah, I've heard.
It also reminds... After my partner, can you do me a favor and...
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away. After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing...
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. But according to about the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a third person?
At least from our perspective. My father, the gun he was holding?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one... But hold on. If that's what had happened, he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine. Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve?
About that, Maloof's told me a thing or two. So, I'll tell you everything.
I understand. Then, And if I may just say one more thing. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus. Even after so... But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rasula. No matter what others might say, he'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth. Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now.
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal?
I mean, where I work, Callus did a fantastic job running the town. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two...
Yes. What happened at the Opera House.
Ah, I get it. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question.
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you, hypothetically, wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do was get rid of the mecha...
If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your... Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, and it's almost... So I can promise you, they're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of... Jokes aside, I'll be staying in the city for a little while.
Take it easy.
Add astra.
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel.
Sure. I will...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as...
Oh, it's all right. I just wanted to talk to you briefly.
Yes, I've...
Oh, you were at the opera.
That's right. I also witnessed your... To beat the Hydro...
Oh, hi, Mon.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as...
Uncle Marcel...
Yes, I was reminded of...
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Aeneas by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also, if not for the vigilance of my...
Oh, you're giving us...
Alas. But rest assured, Navia, if anyone dares to lay their hands on you there...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
The Confrérie was responsible. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot.
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage.
We've talked to all 3 suspects.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
Anyway.
But where should we start? You're right.
According to Jacques' family members, if I had to guess...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably...
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek... Makes sense. Besides Jacques, it's obvious that our enemy...
Do you think he knew?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Florent? But...
So you're saying he's...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be... Thierry, you say? But...
Yeah. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out.
Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Still real... Also, wouldn't... Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing others?
Malus has... The suspect is... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how...
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus, we need far more salt...
Navia, here you are.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the...
Yeah. News came from Aeneas just after you...
Wasn't that place built...
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind...
Wait, how?
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to... If the charge against him stands...
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the
Yeah. And it'll be all...
Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Since this is a trial, you're right. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up...
We'll help you!
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving. It's our hope that...
Thanks.
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Aranias, we should also get going. The location is already...